Alright guys, continuing with part 3 of the complete stereo install. Part 3 is going to be running the wires, the wiring, the power wiring, the remote wiring, and the preamp wiring for a subwoofer in the back. The 2008 F-250 Super Duty. This is the 6.4 liter diesel, so it's got some other modules and stuff that regulars don't have. It was the stock CD changer system. So this was not the audio file system. Okay, first thing I did, I removed those panels there. It's got two simple little clips there. They snap right out. Well, you got to take off the smart junction box cover first. Get rid of your floor mats and whatnot, and then that cover will just pop right out of there. Got to move the weather stripping over a little bit. But the reason I'm doing that is to make room for this remote wire and the preamp. I've already started unraveling them. Got them coiled up right here. Don't want to make a huge mess, so I'm just uncoiling what I need. I'm going to try and feed them underneath here, feed them behind the dash, and up to the back of the head unit opening. You want everything coming right out of here, guys. If you work at it a little bit, you can fish enough stuff through here to where you'll get it all to fit. As you can see there, I've got a USB port, the USB connector that's going to be replacing the auxiliary input, but it took a little finagling, some long needle nose pliers, but you can get it in there. A quick note also that I forgot to mention, and I've already emptied out the glove compartment. Losing my words here, guys, but I'm trying to think of what the hell I'm going to do here. It's real simple. You can see, as a matter of fact, there's a tab there. You just push on this tab and the glove box will come down. Alright. I'm going to look also to see if I can feed a fish tape back there. I might be able to get a fish tape back there, and or one of my graspers back there. If that's the case, then I'll feed them right up through here. It'll be a shorter run of wire, and then right down here along the threshold opening. All right. Well, yeah. Here's turned out to be a shorter route anyway, but I am using one of those grasping tools. You can see it goes in right there. It feeds actually behind this vent and comes out right there in the back. What I'm going to do, it was definitely easier to get it to go from the bottom up. I'm going to take a short length of rope, pull it back through there, tie on my preamp and my remote wire, and pull it through. Alright, pull it back through with the string. So, I guess get a better way to do it, that's fine. I'm just giving you a couple of little tricks, that I've come up with. I've routed a lot of alarm wiring and stuff like that over the years. So, that's what I'm going to do. Kind of like that's what it's looking like. You guys can see that. And then, just like that. Get it loosely on there. I want to try and cover everything up so it doesn't snag on anything. And then the last go round or two, stretch out that tape and make it pretty tight. Alright, give yourself plenty of room here with the rope. Hopefully you won't have too much of a problem. Should be able to do it just like this, depending on how tight it is. Yeah, it's pretty tight, guys. Work it, work it, work it. Yeah, it's a pretty tight fit. Okay, I'm going to take a look with the mirror, see if I can see where it's getting stuck. Make sure this isn't going to snag on anything if I do get it to go through. Alright. There it is. We're good. A little more. There we are. Okay, how many of you guys caught the mistake? You see the mistake? But that's okay. You know, it just happens. It's not anything huge. In fact, I might be able to get it all to go back through there. So, but obviously, guys, you know, this should have come inside of here. These brackets are pretty secure, but it's not anything, no huge deal. Should be able to get it to go through. Let's see. I'm just trying to make sure everybody can see. Trying to light everything up. This is what I'm talking about, guys. The wire should have come through this way. All right. And it looks like we're going to be good. Just be careful, guys. These everything under the dashboard it's pretty sharp. There's a lot of sharp edges. Not only be careful with your hands and whatnot, but be careful with the wiring. That's the way it's supposed to go. See, now we can close our glove compartment. All right. The wires are going to be routed under here. For now, I'm going to open it back up and tie down in here. Okay, there it is. I actually had to move it back quite a bit, guys, but there's the end of the fish tape. All right. With that, what I'm going to do is the same thing, the same way I fed it up through here. I'm just going to tape my preamp and my remote wire and feed it back this way. Of course, by this point, well, I'm going to have to unravel it all, right? And then go from the terminating end. This is what I'm going to put on here. So make sure you don't have any, make sure it all comes out in a strand. You don't have any knots or anything like that in there, right? Because, or other you're going to have to pull it all the way through and start all over again. So, just a quick reminder, guys. See, the thing about these fish tapes is that it's got a plastic end on it. And what that allows it to do is, I mean, it fed it through all the way up to about here, guys. Easily. So, if you do use a coat hanger, I would recommend you take a pair of needles first, bend the back over, crimp it down so that you've got a nice nub on the end. But get this wiring passed through here. All right, there it is, loosely taped up. I mean, you know, again, tape up the front edge here so it doesn't snag on anything. This is going to be quick, guys. So take on. Hopefully, we won't get snagged on anything. Yeah, you see, I had to go ahead and let everything up. But by the time you get over here already to the back, you don't have much slack left. So let's cut over here. See how much of a problem we've got coming through. Okay, well, that was anticlimactic, but oh, there you go, guys. Look at this. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. So you got plenty of. You're able to take out all the slack. This here, actually putting that inside the bed. And where are we at here? Oh no, got a long ways to go. This is where you guys want to be careful. At this point, I'm going to start right behind the door, pull it through. You know, just make sure it's inside the channel. Make sure you don't pull it too tight, because all of a sudden you'll look and you still need to feed this down here. Probably wire tied down here and stuff. Sit real nice and snug. And shoot, it's that simple, guys. All right, guys, we're ready to start running the power wire for the amp. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and wire it all up. I'm going to leave the fuse out until I'm ready to go ahead and install the amp and everything, but we're going to get the pre-wiring done now. Whoo, let's see, the spot we are shooting for is, see if I can see where that harness comes up. Okay, see, that's where the harness comes up, and there is a grommet right there. That's the hole we're shooting for right there. It's going to be located just below where the engine harness passes through the firewall. So it's going to be right, I'm trying to get it to where you guys can see. It's going to be right there. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take off these panels and let's see, get a little more flood here. I'm going to take off these panels and peel back that sound deadening material and remove the grommet, cut through it, cut a hole, leave it snug for the power wire, and run the power wire behind this sound deadening material so that you can't see it from the inside. Come this way along, use the fish tape to pull it back, and you know, run everything just the same way we ran the preamp and remote wire. Okay, now I had to peel the carpet back, and this sound deadening material just pops right up. That's what it looks like. Here's a little tip. Shit, it's hard to get clear of the shadows. Here's a little tip, guys. Pull it till it gets real close, and you can actually grab it with the needle nose and just slowly work it out. Slowly work it until the whole grommet pops through. And there it is. All right, from there, get this out of the way. From there, it's just going to lay, and you see how nice it'll go right around the. Actually, I'm going to do that right now. Put all this back. Make sure you put all the sound deadening material back the way it goes. Need to work it all back around the emergency brake. Take note, your emergency brake is up here, so make sure you put that sound deadening material back around the emergency brake there. God, it's hard to see now. I'm so close I can't see the viewfinder. But make sure that sound deadening material goes back around the emergency brake so you don't interfere with that. All right. Actually, I think what I'm going to do, since I've got the loose end over here, I'm going to run it back around the emergency brake cable. This part doesn't move anyway. This is the sheeting anyway. So, and then come right around through here and shoot, run it all the way to the back. And I've already got the fish tape in here, just waiting to pull the rest of it through. All right, guys. Hopefully, we won't have any other snags. Knock on wood. Okay, finishing up. All that's left is to put the threshold back there, but you guys can see how easy it pulled through. I've got it strapped down there in the back. Fortunately, I didn't have to take off this entire panel. All right, there is enough room under here. This is pretty loose here, and all along here in the back, there's enough room to just tuck the wire under there. In fact, you can see there. Let me see if I can move the light out so you can see it better. There you go. You can see there, I about tucked most of the coil under there. All right, got it with some old twisties left over from all the wiring that's been done. And I kind of tuck it out of the way because later on when I put that amp, I'm going to tuck it in along this edge right here. All right, I'll tuck it in there. All right, guys. Continuing, that's the next morning with our subwoofer upgrade project. As you can see here, the template that I cut out fits pretty well. There we go. I'll tell you what. Yeah, that's better. So it'll fit in the frame. The template ended up fitting pretty well. It's pretty well secured. I am still going to put some screws here because the liquid nails that I have in there is still pretty soft. So I'm going to make sure that the speaker fits. I'm trying to do all this again with one hand. So there we go. Fits in there. So as you can see here, I don't have much room around the edges, around the top. So I am going to put some a couple of panhead screws here to make sure that it'll hold the template on there, the adapter, whatever. And then on the inside in here, I'm going to put some countersunk screws so that the countersunk screws like this, so that they'll sit flush. So I'm gonna have to be careful here drilling a pilot hole, then probably get a larger diameter, 3/8 maybe diameter drill bit to kind of countersink the hole, because this is pretty thick. This MDF is pretty thin. I'm sorry, the MDF is pretty thin, and I don't want it cracking on me, so I'm gonna be careful with that. This is the Clarion amp I'm gonna be installing. Puts out 200 watts RMS to 4 ohms, and gonna mount this up in the back. All right, so this is what we got going on here. I'm gonna secure the woofer here shortly, but I already test fitted to see if I could get this stock OEM Ford box in there. Can't do it without moving the seats. Gonna do that right now. And a quick review, as you can see here, that panel, that white panel, this is what I use to make that adapter. And in case you're wondering, this is an 8 3/4 inch diameter hole, and it was 4 3/8 radius. All right, got a compass and made the big hole, big circle first, and then the inner circle. Cut out the inner circle first, and then you drilled around. So just in case anybody's wondering if you have to do that, this is 8 3/4 inch diameter right here, which is this inner diameter right here. All right. Let's see. So I went ahead and made a couple of extra templates just in case, but we came out all right on the first try. All right, moving over here to the truck. You can see I went ahead and got everything out. Nope, still haven't gotten everything out. God damn it. All right, got to finish getting that stuff out of there, and then I'm going to move the seats forward. It is an 18 millimeter bolt down here on the bottom in the front, and I thought I saw some hex bolts here in the back, but we'll get to that here in a minute. Yeah, I want to make sure everything's out of here. I'm going to come in here, move the seats, vacuum it, because I've got, 12 years worth of my kids' chips and, lost homework and whatnot. Gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do with all my supplies there that I keep in the rear. That I keep behind the rear seat. Like the jumper cables, the jacks, and all this stuff is made to fit. The jacks and the spare tire equipment, but like an emergency raincoat, a chain. I've got the snatch strap. I've got a towing strap. I've got 2 different hitches with 3 different size balls. An emergency rain suit, an emergency air pump, 10 or 12 bungees, 6 or 7 ratchet straps, 3 days worth of food in case I get stranded in the desert. But I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do for my preparedness when I hit the road. I'm gonna lose all this storage space. So, all right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and continue moving out the seat. Again, there were 18 millimeter bolts up in front, and I'll let you know what we had here in the back. But I'm gonna go ahead and move this thing forward and vacuum this out. Okay, continuing here on the, let you all know that the reading on my pain in the assometer is going up as we continue down this journey. There are probably 4 bolts to match the front 18 millimeters in the back here. There's one right under the seat, and I'll save you the time. If you think you can get up perfectly right up over the top with a long extension, you can't. I'm not sure if you can see them in there. All right, yeah, you'll be able to see them there now. Yeah, and as you can see, my goodness, I found an old metric system lesson that I probably gave my 20-year-old once upon a time. I love kids. I love kids. I love kids. Anyway, I had to pull off the floorboard there, that fold-up floorboard you can see over there. These are 40 millimeter, number 40 Torx heads. Okay, there's 6 of them, 2, 4, 6. number 40 Torx, but get them off because to try and get in there for those 18 millimeters is going to be a pain in the butt, and you're going to need to get in at a good angle to loosen them up. So just letting you all know ahead of time. It was 18 millimeters here, 18 millimeters in the back, and these are 40 Torx. All right. Okay, here's a little update. This is where the subwoofer box sits. What I have seen in a couple of videos is the mounting of the amplifier here. Now, it would fit pretty well, you know, be tucked away, stay away from the back seat. The only problem with that is that I look behind here and there's not a shell in the body. Okay, it's straight. Oh, there you can see it right there. This right here is right to the outdoors. So I am not going to put holes in the body, in the cab. These screws here are not, you know, won't be that big, and I don't want to take a chance and then stripping and coming out and then there being a hole there, and then, oh, well, let me put some, you know, epoxy or something, rubber compound, silicone, whatever. I really don't want to be putting holes in the cab. So I've come up with an alternative plan, and it's going to be basically going right back to the OEM setup. Okay, I went ahead and just dropped it in there real quick just to give everybody a reminder. I've got my RCA preamp level and my blue remote line coming in over here on the passenger side, and as you can see over there is where I've got my 8 gauge power cable coming over. So I'm going to be mounting the let's see if I can, oh hey, we got a light. I'm going to be mounting the amp in the OEM location back here behind it. I can get two of the bolts here, the corresponding bolts on the opposite side, but they will fit in the stock holes for the previous amplifier. And I'm going to mount my power distribution block over here on the driver's side. That's what the power distribution block is going to look like. I can then take my power cord and run it underneath the carpeting back to about here, I guess. Pop it out and then go into the power distribution block. From here, the good thing about this Clarion amp is that it's got a harness right here so that I can make my connections, you know, without tugging along the amplifier. Same thing with the speaker connections. I've got to go back and wire up the two negatives and two positives together, solder it all up. And again, the good thing about this amp is that I can solder it up to my speaker connections and then connect it later to the amplifier. I'm going to set it up in this configuration because here are the preamp inputs. These, I don't know if I'm going to cut them, but I definitely will tie them out of the way. But as you can see here, I've got my crossover and my gain and my bass boost level. That's going to be accessible. Whoa! That'll be accessible from this side once it's sitting, you know, in position like this. It almost fits perfectly, but that's the way it's going to look. I've got plenty of room here for air, you know, so to avoid any overheating, and room for my jack at least to go here. I do have room for my spare tire tools. I'm going to have room over there. Maybe instead of my usual 9 ratchet straps, I'm just going to be able to have 2, maybe 3. I don't know what I'm going to do with my 4-day food supply, but I will figure it out. Anyway, I had to run real quick because I just can't live with this mess here. I went and got some carpet shampoo, so I'm going to shampoo this up real quick, try to get some of these stains out. Hopefully it'll dry by the time I mount the speaker, mount the amplifier, mount the power distribution block, run the cables and whatnot. Probably got a couple hours worth of just taking my time doing it right, and then hopefully it'll be dry enough to come in here and vacuum it all up and it won't reek like, I don't know what the hell that is, Diet Coke or Dr. Pepper or I don't know. I love my kids. I love my kids. I love my kids. Look at that. Oh well, such is life. There's no worries. All right, guys, we've got our power distribution block set up. Here's a little cover that it'll take. Goes just like this. Of course, it snaps into place after you crimp down on your power supply. Let's see. Yeah, we're moving along, guys. We are just about ready to wire it up. I'm going to tighten down on the amp up here. I'm going to attach my ground cable. And I think we'll be ready to go. Be ready to rock and roll. Again, I'll give you guys a quick snapshot of where I'm going to attach this. This is going to be attached to the jack brace, to one of the mounting bolts on the jack brace. I'll show you here in a little bit. But this connection here is soldered. This came with my amp kit. All right, this is all that came with the amp itself. This came with the amp mounting kit. All right, so we're going to go in here like so. And then right here into our power distribution block. Piece of cake. Then just tinned. It's all right. This thing's got a terminal, so don't break that cover, dumbass. Getting a little crowded, guys, and I know I'm getting kind of anxious because I want to fire it up, but I want to make sure that everything is correct. Also, got to tie this up here. But okay, I'm going to mount my ground wire, and then we'll go from there. I'll show you guys what it looks like here shortly. All right, let's go hook it all up. I've already tested the ground, and looks like we're good to go. Let's fire it up. Also got to put the fuse back inside of the hood on my main connection with the battery. I've got the fuse out of that, so connect that all up. We'll be ready to fire it up. All right, guys, we're ready to set the gain on the amplifier to the subwoofer. It's a little complicated, just simply because you're supposed to completely isolate the system, and I've got my other speakers that are full range speakers connected. Fortunately, with the Pioneer, the F-250 NEX, I've got crossovers that I can set for the front and rear. So what I'm doing is I'm setting the crossover point at about 160 hertz and getting a filter of minus 18 decibels. If you go to mtx.com, as in MTX, the speaker company, you can download some test tones, okay? Because instead of playing music and stuff like that, what you can do is just play a test tone. This is 50 hertz, if you can hear it. Yeah, you can barely hear it on the speakers, which is good because that's where I want it to be on the speakers. In fact, that was coming through subwoofer. What you have to do is, because I am going to set the gain based off of preamp level input, so the sound is probably clean all the way till you turn up the volume 100%. So what you have to do is you have to turn up your volume 100%. If it's a stock system, or if you're not familiar with what the system can do, or if you're using speaker level input, then you have to turn it to about 3/4. They make a professional tool that will actually read the distortion, and you can set it that way. But I don't have one of those tools, and I'm not going to spend $300 on the tool when this is just for my own personal use. So I'm using the physics formula that they use for this, and that is simply the power rating, which is 200 watts times the resistance, which is 4 ohms, gives me 800. So you take the square root of 800, all right, gives me 28.28 volts. AC, by the way. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to disconnect the speakers. I shouldn't have clipped them up here. Let me take you out for a little ride. Okay, here we go. What I'm going to do now is remove these wire ties. Shouldn't have done that. Disconnect the speakers and then measure the voltage AC here with my gain. Right now is all the way down. It says to put your crossover, your low pass filter is all the way up here. Let me get my trusty little screwdriver so it looks professional. And then the bass boost is supposed to be all the way down. So the reason why they want you to put your low pass all the way up is to give it the broadest range possible before it distorts, all right? So right now the gain, I'm just going to leave it there for a little bit. But I'm going to set my multimeter at voltage AC. I'm going to play my 50 millimeter test tone. See, I've got it set up here. If you're listening on a computer or a laptop or something, you might not be able to hear the tone. Do you hear it, the speaker popping? You can barely. I don't even know if you can hear it. And you heard it cut out there. That's because I've got the low pass. I've got it set at high pass actually on the rear speakers and on the front speakers. So I'm cutting out everything below 160 hertz. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do, and let's see if we can get it done. If I be able to show you it all. Piece of shit. Okay, I'm at 24.6. I need to come up a little bit, but man, this thing's very delicate.
New message, standing by.
Son of a bitch. Shit, it's a little too far. Got to be 28.3, and that's way too far.
New message, standing by.
Son of a bitch. I've got it real close right there. So now that the gain is set, you can go ahead and set. I can go ahead and set the low pass filter. Again, guys, at this point, this is very delicate, man. So don't touch the gain after you set it. Do not touch it. All right, looks pretty good. So we're gonna get this button back up, and that's it. Put it all back together and get the hell out of here. Enjoy some music. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it off right there. I don't know how much of that you're actually even going to hear. But it's in. It is secured. It is gained. I went up on the gain a little bit. I didn't really feel that punch at 28 volts, so I took it up a bit. There's no distortion, so again, it's preamp level. But anyway, subwoofer's in, and got the seat back. Fits exactly the way it's supposed to. Went ahead and cleaned off all the Diet Coke and everything off the bottom of my floor, so everything went the way it was supposed to. I hope you guys have liked the video. I hope I gave at least a couple of ideas out there. If not, if you saw something that I did wrong or whatnot, feel free to put a comment below. And let's see. We'll see what other things we have in store here for the Old Faithful here. All right, man. Thanks a lot for watching. Catch you next time.